We recently went over the MultiCharts 25K portfolio. You can see that here in this workspace window. Now we're going to go over the NinjaTrader 8 workspace, and I'm going to show you all the strategies and the performance summaries, the latest performance summaries. We have two trades today, both down on the day right now. Gap continuation stopped out, and Cobra 3 is down on this trade. So we're going over the results. Let's start with Cobra Crude. No trades today. This is a 10 strategy, very selective portfolio. And I'm going to show you the reports. Let's pull that up. 97.64, going back to the year 2009 or 2007. 131.73 average trade profit. Here is the equity curve. You also have an aggressive setting, which has done better in recent years, but it is more aggressive, has a bigger drawdown. Let's look at the strategy setup. So in this one, you have, these are all the inputs, and you can download these screenshots from us directly too when you set this up. So you get the strategy, you set up the data settings, you set up the input settings, and you have your workspace set up. Here are the data settings. We're using 15-minute bars. And for automation, you don't need to go back to 2007. We're just doing that for the back test. So for automation, I like to go back anywhere from 3 to 7 to 12 months, depending on the strategy. Lower time frames with more trades can go back, just 3 months, depending on the strategy, while larger time frames, like 15 minutes, you wanted to have a few trades on the screen in order to automate. So if you have at least a few trades, then you're good to go. Let's look at the data series for Cobra CT3. 1 minute bars, testing back to 2007. We're using the CME, US Index Futures regular trading hours. Now when you're setting these up, data series and time frame are the only values that you need to worry about. I send screenshots for this whole screen, and chart style, visual, price marker trades. Those are all you can make those whatever you want from that point down. You don't have to make all these colors the same as my colors. It's just the time frame and data series that need to match. And so that's the data series. Let's look at the strategies, and this is the strategy. This is the way it's set up in the strategies. Input settings, you have a monthly loss is checked, $500. Gap down limit checked. Gap down limit point is 12. Tick low minus 50. Stop loss is $600. So the monthly loss limit is based on a closed trade basis. If you're down $495 and you come into a trade, you could be down $1,095 on the month. So it's based on a closed trade basis. It's not going to just stop once you're down $600 on the month. And if you have one losing trade, you're basically done. If you start the month, you have a losing trade, you're basically done because you'd be down $600. And so keep in mind these are day trade strategies, so it could get out at the end of the day at a loss that's smaller than the stop loss. So we're not using the surge exit, the break even, the profit target, or the dollar trail on this one. You see the long start time is at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Now the time-based inputs are automatically adjust for whatever time zone you're in, so you don't have to change them. So these are the times: 10 o'clock a.m., 3 o'clock p.m. or 1500, and then 4:12 p.m. So the data 2 symbol, you have to have data. For data 2, you have to have 1 minute bars, VIX day session, and then ES day session. And check these last two, and then you can scroll down. I send the screenshots for these. You can let me know if you have any questions on this setup. And so let's look at the performance report for this. So you see the equity curve, it had a drawdown here, and it's coming back. And summary, 50,050 to 1/1/2007, 532 trades, $94 average trade profit. Excellent number for a E-mini S&P day trade strategy. Gap continuation 2019 has been on a run. It had a loss today. Let's take a look at the results. Here is the performance summary. And you see the equity curve has done better recently than in the past. And here's the summary. The average trade profit is much higher since 2017, and that's why we're trading it. We prefer over $50 average trade profit, and it's over $100 since 2017. And we like it for the current market conditions. So that's why we're trading it. Max drawdown is 62.40. 62.705, and we already looked at the equity curve. So now we're going to look at the data settings because this uses a custom session. Right click data series, And you see gap continuation 2019. You have to create that. We send a screenshot and instructions on how to do that as well. So we tested this back to 2007. Those were the results. Once again, data series and time frame is all you need to worry about on this one. Let's look at the strategy inputs. I've simplified the strategy inputs. So all you have is contracts, one contract. I could do this to all of my strategies. So I go back and forth on what's best. If there's more inputs, then you have more options on your side to change the strategy if you wish, but then there's more details to manage if there's more inputs. So if there's less inputs and if you just insert the strategy, all you have to do is change the contracts. And it's a lot easier to set up with the default settings, but then once again, those of you that like to make adjustments won't have the option to make adjustments if I do that. So Soybeans Swing, take a look. Strategies, let's look at the performance summary first. Had this strategy for a long time. It tests well back to the 80s. Actually, I have pit data. At 194.35, swing trade strategies tend to have higher average trade profits than day trade strategies. Here is the equity curve. The equity curve is not accelerating as much as it has in the past, but things are cyclical, so oftentimes when something's gone sideways for a couple of years, it can be a good time to get in. If it's done well in the past and it's kind of gone sideways, then the cycle could be on. And so it's one of those deals where it's not doing too bad, it's not making a lot, but it's not doing too bad, and it gives us the opportunity to trade a strategy that could break out. 194.35, 4,087.50 is the max drawdown. We already went over the average trade profit, so I like this strategy. It does hold positions overnight and over the weekend. And let's look at the inputs, strategies. Here are the inputs. I'm not going to go over all these the way I have been because I want to make this video a little bit more brief, but these are all the inputs. Once again, you get a screenshot of these. When you set up the strategy data settings, we use the Grains New custom session. So it has a custom session called Grains New, and these were the results back to 2007. And once again, when you automate this, you don't have to go back to 2007 just to check the performance. You might want to. So let's look at the performance summary for SR CounterTrend IV Crude Oil. $35,740, $133 average trade profit. Here is the equity curve with recent equity peaks, and I really like this equity curve. It's a very selective strategy. Only 267 trades since 2007. Pretty low drawdown for crude oil, $4,300. And let's look at the data settings. This uses the euro right here. And again, just data series and time frame are all you have to worry about in the setups. You can make chart style, visual, price marker trades, whatever you want on your side. Strategies. Here are the input settings. And SR CounterTrend III, this is the overnight version of SR CounterTrend II, slightly different, a little bit different as well. 60,440, average trade profit of 115. Analysis, you can see the equity curve with this analysis. I like this equity curve, especially in recent years. The drawdown is 6,200, 60,440, and 115 average trade profit. And very consistent, you see, between the longs and the shorts. The number of trades, the average trade profits, all very, very consistent between those. And the data series, we're not using anything, we're using the instrument settings. We have a 24-hour session, but we're calculating it based on the day session data, and I'm going to show you how I do that. I was able to program custom sessions into this setup, and I use euro for data 2 period value, or session name 2 is euro, and session name 3 is euro M. So we're not setting it up in the chart, but we're setting it up in the Ninja script. So that's interesting and different than anything we've done in the past with this SR CounterTrend III. Here's SR CounterTrend III Gold. It has the same data setup based on the Ninja script, setting up the custom sessions within the Ninja script for data 2 and data 3. Here is the equity curve. And let's look at the summary. 79.10, 510 trades since 2007, $139 average trade profit, $4,900 drawdown, and once again very consistent between long and shorts. A little bit more long trades, 283 versus 227, with the net profit on each of those. Average trade profit does favor the short side. The drawdown is very similarly matched. So that's S or CounterTrend 3. NightTrader, one of our top strategies, one of our popular strategies, used to capture those gap ups in the market. Here is the summary. 61 287.50. This is just back to November 2016. $261 average trade profit, very high, and $6,100 drawdown. Here's the equity curve. This has almost 80% of the trades that are profitable, so different type of strategy than what we typically trade, and so that's good because we want a diversity of strategies as long as they work. And this one has a great out of sample performance. Let's look at SR CounterTrend II E-mini S&P. 41,037.50, 596 trades since 2007, 68.85, and equity curve near equity peak. So this tests well back to 1997 as well. Cobra 3, same thing, tests well back to 1997. Does better with the current price levels and volatility than it has in the past, and has higher average trade profit the last few years. 117, 115.28, 35.390. Let's see, drawdown is 4,065. Big average trade profit for a strategy. So this has a tendency to capture big winners. Largest winning trade on the overall is 47.50. So you have the on the long side, the biggest winner is 37.90. On the short side is 47.50. So you want to make sure you're in this strategy on those big trades, and the best way to do that is to trade it. Keep trading it, and you're going to go through series of losers on this trade. On these trades, max consecutive losers is 6, going back to 2017. So at $600 a piece, that's $3,600, and so you'll go through losing streaks, but then you'll be there to capture the big winner. It's a $600 stop loss, or get out at the end of the day. So we hold it and wait for those big trends to take place. And sometimes during low volatility it didn't happen, but all of a sudden volatility happens and you get that trade. So this is a brief summary, not complete exhaustive review of the 25K portfolio. It just shows you how to set up for the most part, the data settings, the input settings, and you get screenshots when you have these. And the latest performance summary for each of these through February 11th, 2020.